Welcome to NIT International. We are here once again to provide you with the latest news. The US struck Yemen's illegal Houthi group, eliminating top leaders. The Houthis attacked a US carrier but failed. The Trump administration vowed to continue operations until the Iran-backed group is stopped. The world awaits the next US move amid rising threats. Let's get into the details. The United States turned the Houthis world into a nightmare as they dragged international maritime traffic into a major crisis. A large-scale US airstrike targeting the illegal Houthi group in Yemen has neutralized the organization's senior leaders. Among those eliminated was the security chief of the Houthi leader, sending shockwaves through the militant ranks. In response to their mounting losses, the illegal armed group attempted to retaliate by targeting a US aircraft carrier, a move that cost them dearly. Immediately after the Houthis' reckless maneuver, the US Central Command, CENTCOM, launched another wave of airstrikes in the region, delivering a final warning against the growing Iranian threat in the Middle East. Iran's long-standing ambition to use the Middle East as a backyard for its illegal activities has been decisively thwarted with President Donald Trump's return to office. As is well known, Iran has exploited both the Israel-Gaza crisis and the world's preoccupation with the Russia-Ukraine war to intensify its support for illegal armed groups in the region, encouraging them to take increasingly brazen actions. One such group, the Yemeni Houthis, nearly paralyzed global maritime traffic with their relentless attacks, causing a major crisis in international trade. Following his return to power in January 2025, US President Donald Trump granted the group ample time to halt these irrational actions. However, instead of learning from their mistakes, the Houthis continued to act as Tehran's puppets, ultimately paying the price for their defiance of the world's most powerful military. By March 15, 2025, the consequences of their reckless choices began to unfold with devastating force. Determined to implement a decisive and lasting solution, President Trump ordered a series of airstrikes on Houthi-controlled territories in Yemen as of Saturday. In his initial statement regarding the military action, the US president explained the reasoning behind the strikes and their expected duration, affirming that the US military would exert overwhelming force until the Iran-backed insurgents ceased their attacks on a vital maritime corridor. Following the first wave of nighttime strikes, preliminary assessments confirmed that at least 31 Houthi militants had been neutralized. The next day, on March 16, 2025, White House National Security Advisor Michael Waltz updated the report, stating that multiple high-ranking Houthi leaders had been taken out. Speaking on ABC's This Week, Waltz declared, "This was in fact a crushing response that eliminated multiple Houthi leaders." He went on to accuse Iran of aiding the Houthis in their attacks against US warships and global trade, revealing that approximately 70% of global trade now avoids the Houthis by rerouting around South Africa, leading to higher shipping costs and supply chain disruptions. Blaming the Biden administration for failing to adequately address the Houthi threat, Waltz continued, "President Trump found this situation unacceptable. What we inherited was a disaster, and this is just one of the efforts to correct this mistake and restore global trade." Shortly after Waltz's statements, President Trump released a new statement on social media, declaring, "Our brave warriors are now conducting airstrikes on the bases, leaders, and missile defenses of this illegal group to protect American shipping, aviation, and naval assets while restoring freedom of navigation. No illegal organization will be allowed to disrupt the free passage of American commercial and naval vessels through the world's waterways." The president also issued a direct ultimatum to Iran, warning Tehran to stop supporting the insurgent Houthi group. Pledging to hold the country fully accountable for the actions of its proxy forces, Trump's move came just 2 weeks after declaring that he would not allow Iran's nuclear program to become operational. A critical report on CENTCOM's overnight strikes came from the Saudi-based news service Asharq, confirming that numerous senior Houthi figures were eliminated in the targeted strikes. The outlet reported that one of those killed was the security chief responsible for protecting the Houthi leader. Despite suffering heavy losses in the March 15th strikes, the The Houthis, rather than seizing the opportunity to retreat, attempted a counterattack against the United States, the world's greatest superpower. However, this Iran-backed decision only deepened the Houthis' nightmare. Announcing that they had launched a retaliatory strike on March 16th to 17th, 2025, Houthi group spokesperson Yahya Sari declared, "We targeted the U.S. aircraft carrier, USS Harry Truman, with 18 ballistic missiles and UAVs. We will not hesitate to target all U.S. warships in the Red Sea and the Arabian Sea." Claiming that their attack was meant to counter an impending hostile assault by the United States, the Houthis' propaganda efforts ultimately amounted to nothing more than an exercise in futility. U.S. officials swiftly dismissed their exaggerated claims, revealing that the so-called Houthi attack consisted of just one ballistic missile and 11 unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs. According to the White House, nearly none of these threats even came close to U.S. aircraft carriers. All UAVs launched by the Houthis were intercepted and destroyed by American fighter jets, 10 by the Air Force and 1 by the Navy. The only weapon that managed to reach the U.S. carrier strike group's vicinity, a single ballistic missile, crashed harmlessly into the water. CENTCOM wasted no time in responding to the Houthis' failed attack. At approximately 3:20 a.m. on March 17, 2025, the command issued a statement declaring, "U.S. Central Command Forces continue operations against the Iran-backed illegal Houthi group." The subsequent wave of U.S. strikes commenced immediately after the Houthis' unsuccessful attempt to attack the U.S. carrier group. However, the question remains, will President Donald Trump escalate this campaign into a broader military operation? For now, it is clear that the entire U.S. leadership is united in supporting the ongoing operations against the Houthis. Highlighting the necessity of the strikes, U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth reiterated on March 16, 2025, that Trump is fully committed to relentlessly striking the Houthis until their military actions against U.S. assets and global shipping routes cease, stressing that these attacks should be seen as part of a broader effort to restore freedom of navigation and deterrence in the region. Hegseth affirmed, "We will not allow the Houthis to continue their actions unchecked." The next U.S. move is expected to depend on Iran's reaction. However, early statements from Tehran are fueling concerns that the crisis in the region could escalate further. Hussein Salami, the highest-ranking commander of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, issued a warning stating, "We caution our enemies that if they turn their threats into action, Iran will respond decisively and destructively." Following Salami's statement, the Yemeni armed forces also announced that they were prepared to respond to escalation with further escalation. However, history has repeatedly shown that Iran's promises of support for illegal armed groups in the Middle East are often hollow, with Tehran abandoning its proxies at the first sign of real danger. Given this precedent, the possibility of Iran offering tangible assistance to the Houthis remains highly unlikely. Meanwhile, the Pentagon has no intention of wasting time. Since 2023, the Houthis have attempted 174 attacks on U.S. warships and 145 attacks on commercial vessels. However, the remnants of their Biden-era habits will soon be broken. Yet, the Houthis' repeated counterattack attempts indicate their stubborn refusal to recognize reality the easy way. Now, the entire world watches in anticipation, awaiting the United States' next move, and the broader impact it will have not just on the Middle East, but across the globe.